In this nitty-gritty basics Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at I Love Mahj. I Love Mahj, if you don't already know, is a relatively new platform to the community, and they have a wonderful exercise room. And we're going to be utilizing that today, so you'll get to see how you can use it to help build your skills. That is the topic for today, skill builders. So whether you are new to the game or you're an intermediate player, even advanced players can benefit from skill builders. I hope you enjoy this short presentation and the gameplay with commentary afterwards demonstrating these ideas. If you have skill builders that you use that aren't covered here, please send me an email, which you can find in the video description below, or comment under the video description. You could also join us on Facebook at #MAHJLIFE and comment there, because I would love to add to the skill builders, and I welcome feedback and input from the community. I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for sharing about my channel. Channel members, thank you for supporting MAHJLIFE, and moderators, thank you very much for helping monitor chat. Today's format is nitty-gritty, and that means that there will be no socialization, so we can focus on the topic for today and gameplay with commentary. Hi, Beverly, welcome. All right, I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna get started right away. Oh, shoot, I have the wrong, sorry. I have the wrong one. We need to do the presentation first. There it is. All right, skill builders, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you have a set of tiles at home, you can do these using your tiles, but you could also do them online, which is what I'm going to be demonstrating today. So think about using your tiles at home to do these exercises, or consider getting an account at I Love Mahj. And when you do, use MAHJLIFE, MAHJLIFE, as the promo code to get 3 weeks free. I am an affiliate partner there, so if you decide to get a paid subscription, I will get a small commission, which I love and I appreciate. All right, let's get going. So skill builders. The first thing that I want to share is something that I've heard many times in my continuing education, and I think it's a great way to explain the stages of skill building. And I think it's kind of clever and funny at the same time. So the stages of skill development is you begin at unconscious incompetence. That's the state when, I probably should change that to states of, it is stages though. So each one is a state of skill development. So when you first start a new skill, you're in a state of unconscious incompetence. Then the next stage is conscious incompetence, then conscious competence, and then unconscious competence. And the way that I think this through is, before you delve into adopting a new skill or testing a skill, you don't know what you don't know. That would be unconscious incompetence. You are unaware that there are skills that you can adopt to help you. So you're at that moment unconsciously incompetent. Then when you know about a skill that you can adopt, you're aware of it, so you're consciously incompetent. And then you start practicing the skill, which makes you building that conscious competence. And finally, once you've adopted the skill and you're practiced and continue to practice, that's when you are in a state of unconscious competence. Basically, you're using the skill and benefiting from the results as you go. So those are the stages, or yeah, stages of skill development. So I hope you enjoy that. I think it's really clever and a good thing to visualize because it's a process. And to make this work, you need repetition. So you'll be not only repeating this cycle with every skill you are introduced to, but you're also going to get to that unconscious competence stage by repetition. You learn, you practice, you adopt, and then you continue to practice. So all that is repetition. I thought I fixed this. Doggone it. Okay, so the purpose of category modeling, this is the first one. And by the way, this is a great skill builder when you get the new card, which we're going to be getting in April. So it's not too far from now, and it comes quicker than you know. So the first week in April, people typically get the brand new card. The categories typically stay the same, but the hands change. So category modeling will be a great exercise for you to do when you get your new card. The purpose is to gain a comprehensive understanding of the hands because they're going to change. The patterns and the shapes of the hands will change. The rules, of course, will stay the same, hopefully. So this is an image of the mock American Mah Jongg card that I have in my videos for fundamentals and skill builders. And it's also in my lesson kit if you're an instructor. And you can see that it uses the same colors, letters, and numbers, the same categories that the league uses. And this way, people can get used to playing the game without having to buy the card yet. Or maybe they're in between publishes and they don't want to spend the money just yet. Because like right now, if you buy a card, you're either not going to get the 2023 card, or you're going to be delayed because the 2024 card won't be out until April. So this is a good temporary learning tool. And what you're going to do is make every hand on the card systematically. So start with the year category, left panel, first category, and you're going to look at the first hand, and with your tiles, you're going to create the first year hand. So you'll get 2 flowers. You'll get tiles representing the year. So let's say 2024, and then you're going to get 2 dragons. And study the text in the parentheses, because that is going to give you flexibility and limitation. Here, we have flexibility, any 2 dragons. Even though the colors are 3 different colors, you might think that the suit that you use for the year has to be different than the 2 dragons. But in the parentheses, you're allowed to use any 2 dragons. So the visual of the colors may be the way that you can build the hand, but there are other ways you can build the hand based on the description in the parentheses. So by creating every hand on the card systematically, meaning one by one, and then modifying the hand based on the text in the parentheses so that you can see the limitation and flexibility provided for that given card. Create every hand on the card. And it's a little tedious. It might take a day, but it'll be well worth the effort. And you can actually do this at I Love Mahj. So we are going to practice in between each one of these. Here I mentioned the text in the parentheses. And then I mentioned that you should make them in every way possible based on what is on the card. So for odds, for example, there sometimes are 2 options, little odds and big odds. So you can build a 1-3-5 hand, 1-3-3-5, for example, in different suits, or you can do 5, 7, 9. So create both. So if there are two options on a line, create them both. Every different permeation, just practice building hands using your tiles at home. So we're going to now go to I Love Mahj, and I'm going to show you where to do that at I Love Mahj. We have the website here, and I'll make my screen bigger. If you click on play in the upper right corner, in the top navigation, you scroll down to exercise room, or you can just click play and then scroll down. So here's exercise room. If you click the radio button, make a hand, and then sequential order, it will walk you through the card systematically. So let's click start exercise, and this will be using the 2023 card. So we're just going to do, let's say, just one of them. All right. You have the tiles in front of you. So if you're doing this at home, just put all your tiles right side up in front of you in random order is fine. You don't need to group them, but if you want to, you could group your BAMs together, your cracks and dots together, and then your winds, dragons, flowers, and jokers, and put them all in separate little areas if you like. Otherwise, just mush them all together, because you got to practice finding tiles anyway, because that's how we discard. We discard in random spot. So whatever you're comfortable with, set your tiles up that way. Next, you're going to have your rack, and you're going to look at the first hand. And in this case, we're online, and you can see that they provided the hand for you. Line, or 2023 line 1. So we have 3 colors: green, white, and red. Or what is that? Like a melon color, coral. So on the card, instead of red, they're using kind of a coral color or a salmon color. So we need 3 2s of whatever suit. Just because it's green does not mean it has to be a BAM. But, and also we're in 2023 year, so we have to use the numbers that represent the year. So for this one, we're going to create 2023, and let's do dots. So I'm going to click the 3 dot 3 times. So there's 3 2 dots. Then we need zeros. And in American Mah Jongg, that is the white dragon. When the white dragon is used as a numeral, it loses the correspondence to dots. It doesn't have that attribute anymore. It becomes a numeral, or a 0 in this case. Oh, what the heck? Hold on. Hold, please. Okay, let me stop sharing and then share again. Let's try it this way. Okay, so here we are on the exercise room. Thank you, Beverly. We have make a hand radio button. So if you click these radio buttons, you'll see different options will show up. You want to click sequential order and then click start exercise. And this is where you'll see all the tiles in front of you. And this is when I was saying, if you have your tiles at home, you can group them together by tile type. And then under the tiles, you have the hand that you're working on, and it will prompt you systematically. So we're doing the 2023 first hand. We need 3 2s, 4 0s, another set of 2s in a different suit, and then 4 3s. So let's do the dots. I'm going to click on the 2 dot. So there's 3 2 dots. And now we'll click on the white dragon, and we're caught up to where we were. Thank you again, Beverly. And then we need 3 more. So there are the white dragons, which are zeros in this case. So they don't necessarily, or they don't correspond to the 2 dot because the white dragons are a 0. And then let's use the BAMs for the next color. 3 colors, 3 suits. In this case, the white dragon is white. So technically we're working with 2 suits. So let's pick the 2 BAM. We need 3. And then the 3 BAM. And I'm going to put just 3 there so you can see what happens if you get something wrong. Let's say maybe instead of 3s, I think, oh, let's do 2024. So here's a 2024 hand. Let's validate, and you'll see what happens if you're wrong. Invalid hand. Invalid hand, and it gives you a dialog box that tells you what's wrong with it. You could have a wrong combination of pungs, kongs, quints. That would be the pattern or the shape of the hand. That would be actually the shape. And then the pattern would be the wrong combination of suits, and then using a joker for a single or a pair. So you can click try again, and that's what we're going to do. Or you can click show solution. Let's just do that really quick, and it will fix it for you. So let's go to the next hand, and then we'll move on to the next skill builder. So here we have 2 flowers represented by the letter F. So we have 2 flowers, and then we have the year. So let's do cracks. 2, 0, 2, 3. So there's our year block. You can't use jokers here because there are singles in here. So no jokers in a block like this. Now we need 2 kongs, 2, 3, 2 different suits. So let's use the BAMs, and now we'll use dots. So we have 3 suits represented because there are 3 colors for the hand on the screen or on the card. And then you click validate, and congratulations, you got it right. Let's see here. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right, so we got it right. We're going to exit, and now I'm going to share my screen so we can go to the next exercise. We are going to do this is actually what I call random pulls. The purpose of the exercise is to practice identifying the strength in a dealt hand. I call it random pulls because we're going to take 13 or 14 random tiles, and we're going to arrange the tiles so we can get the lay of the land, kind of an overview of the tiles we have to work with. And then we're going to zero in or focus on what might be the strength of the hand, and then we'll pick 3 discards. That's the process of doing random pulls. So just to summarize, take 13 or 14 random tiles, arrange them by suit in numerical order. So that's what we have here. And then you're going to identify the strength of the hand. Because American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples, that's what you want to look for. If you have a multiple, which could be a pair, pung, kong even, if you get that, that would be where you want to start, a multiple. So the 1 dot is where you would start with this hand. That would be the target. So with the remaining tiles, you want to gather the tiles that can be used with that multiple, and then play a category that will use most of your tiles. So in this case, we have mostly 1, 2, 3, 4. We could play 1, 3, 5, but we have more consecutive tiles by 2. So I would play consecutive run, or we could maybe play little odds if we get more 3s. So consecutive run would be the predominant pattern utilizing the pair of 1s. That would be targeting the multiples, targeting the strength, and then incorporating the predominant pattern. That's how you identify the strength of the hand. So even without a pass, just the dealt hand, you can see that there's potential here. The next thing that I would do would be to pick my discards. So from the remaining discards, you're going to create the most benign pass possible, because you don't want to help your opponents build their hand. We have 7, 8, 9 and mixed suits that we can pass. This is a little bit risky, but there's going to be risk in every pass, regardless. Even maybe one tile could be kept. That would be a best case scenario, or really if they don't hold any and they pass on all of them, that is the best case. But if they keep 1 or even 2 tiles, that's okay. Just do the best you can. That's the key. Do the best you can with what you have left over, and let the focus be your own hand development. Do the best you can with what you have remaining. So we're going to go back to I Love Mahj, and we're going to do a random pull online. So here we have, I'm going to go on top here. So here we have Charleston practice. And we're not going to do the Charleston. We're just going to do a random pull. We're just going to get a dealt hand, identify the strength of the hand, and then we're going to exit and return. That would be just focused on the random pull. Identify the strength of the hand. So let's do Charleston practice. We're going to click start. And then we're going to click sort by suit. And you're going to just quickly look from left to right and repeat in your head what you see. Joker, flower, pair, dragon, green dragon, white, 3, 9 and bams, 2, 4, 6, 8 and cracks, 1, 6, 7 and dots. So here, what would you say would be your target? Throw it in chat if you're live with us. And if you're watching the repost, thank you. But also just tell yourself, what would you start with? What would you target here? I'll give you about 3 seconds. The dragons, that would be where you start. Then you're going to hold tiles that you can use with the dragons. We could maybe play a year hand with dragons. So I would keep the 2s and 3s. We also have some like number potential in here with 6s. So I would hold like numbers, maybe the year tiles, and then the dragons. So then with what I have left over, I would probably pass 1, 4, 9. And then I would stop. That would be a random pull online. So you just stop right there. Get your dealt hand, target the strength, choose a category that uses most of your tiles supporting the strength, and then pick 3 tiles that you don't need. Because next we're going to work on the Charleston. So we're going to close this, and we're going to do it one more time. So we have a flower, north-south pair, white dragon, 5, 9 and bams, 2, 5, 8, 9 and cracks, pair 8, 1 dot and a 9 dot. What would you say is the strength here? Put it in chat if you are so inclined, or just say it out loud if you're watching the repost. What would you start with? And what category would you focus on? Not what hand you would play necessarily, just what category would you play? Keep it high level. You really don't even need to look at the card. Just keep it very high level. Knowing the categories on the card, just the titles of the categories is enough to get you started. And you really don't need to even look at the card until you run out of discards based on the category you choose. So if these were my tiles, I would keep the souths and the eights. High numbers, Beverly says. Yep, because I'm keeping eights, I would keep the nines. So you want to keep the tiles that can support the multiple. Many times that is going to be proximity numbers. And when you're thinking consecutive run, you want 4 numbers in a range around the multiple. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, I would keep the 5s. 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have 3 tiles we can pass. Now this right here, 1, 2 dragon, white dragon specifically, this would be very risky. So I would not pass that white dragon. Instead, I would let something go. Probably the 5 bam, because then we could pass 1 of each suit. And we still have a 5 in here if we get a 6 and a 7 that can help join the 5 to the 8. And I would stop right there. We targeted the strength, which is the 8 crack. We might even be able to play the news concealed hand under Winds and Dragons and use north and south with 8 crack and maybe one of the other 9s in the other suits. So 8 crack, 9 bam, or 9 dot with news. So by stopping there, you're going to then have enough tiles left over to do a pass. That is how you do random pulls. If you do this exercise at home, just put all your tiles upside down, mix them up, take 13 or 14 tiles and put it in your rack, arrange the tiles, and then identify the target, the strength. Gather tiles that can support the strength and choose a category that would use most of your tiles. And then identify 3 unwanted tiles just for practice. Identify your discards, basically. That is how you do random pulls. Any questions on random pulls? I'm going to share my screen and we'll do the next one. Let's see, let me advance it. Okay, now, oh, here it is. All right. We're going to talk about the Charleston now. And the next several exercises I call Charleston skill builders because they focus on the Charleston only. And the reason why I focus on the Charleston so much is because it's a big part of the game. It's actually the pre-game because the game doesn't officially begin until East discards the first tile. The Charleston is a hand development expediter. It gives you the opportunity to radically improve your dealt hand in a series of passes that you do with your opponents. So that is the first part of the game, the pregame or the Charleston. Then you have the play, which is where you pick 1 tile at a time and discard 1 tile at a time for the play. This is where you can call discards to help you expedite hand development, or if you're playing concealed, you can just draw the tiles from the wall. It kind of slows down the progress a little bit, but there are a lot of strategies that you can use to help you further develop your hand. And there's a lot of information that can be gathered in this particular part of the game to help you with decision making. We're not going to focus on that too much until we get to the gameplay with commentary. And then the final phase of the game is the pay. This is where somebody wins and then they announce the value of the hand. And Everybody looks at the hand before showing what they're doing. They validate the hand and pay the winner and give accolades, and then the game starts over. The reason I emphasize this is because if you harness the power of the Charleston, you can optimize your potential to win. You've got to understand why the Charleston is even a process. The bottom line is it is a hand development expediter. So even if you do just the first round of passes, you're going to improve your dealt hand more times than not. If you do the full Charleston, you have a lot of potential to have a well-developed hand going into the play. And this is why we focus so much on Charleston skill builders at MAHJLIFE. The first exercise I call Charleston modeling. It's the base version of the exercise. And the purpose is to practice decision-making through the process of giving and receiving up to 3 tiles in a series of passes. So at home, you're going to have your tiles randomly in front of you, mix them up and get 13 or 14 tiles and put them in your rack. Look at them and arrange them and identify the strength of the hand. Gather supporting tiles and choose a category to play that will use most of your tiles. Look at your discards and pick 3 tiles that you can give away. And then you're going to do the Charleston modeling. To set this up in advance, you're going to preview about 36 tiles in the mix, in the random tiles in front of you. You're going to take about 36 of them or so and remove the jokers. Then turn the tiles upside down and mix them up. And then you're going to create 2 Charleston sets. Right across left for the first, left across right for the second. These are your incoming passes that you would receive if you're sitting at a table of 4 players. So they're ready to go. And you're then going to take your 3 tiles that you've identified as discards, and then you're going to put them in front of you to the right, upside down. Those are your outgoing passes. Then you're going to take 3 from the incoming column, and you're going to put them in your hand and see how it can help you build your hand. Then you're going to take 3 more and so on. And you're going to go through the Charleston, picking 3 from your hand, putting them in the outgoing column, and then taking 3 from the incoming column and add it to your hand. So once you get through right across left, you could pass blind even. Just put 2 to the outgoing column and take 1 tile from your incoming pass and add it to your outgoing pass. So you can pass blind and practice that process here. Or if you're at home, this is how you would do it. So let's say that you did not want to pass blind. You're just going to take them all. And then at this point, you could even decide to stop the Charleston if you like. Just don't do it and push those tiles back into the random pit. And then when you're ready to do the optional across, let's say we did the full Charleston, you're then going to take 3 unwanted tiles, put them in the middle of the random pile, and then you're going to mix up the outgoing column and take 3 from there. And the reason I recommend that is because many times the optional across has the same tiles that go around in the Charleston. This kind of mimics that same experience. It is not meant to be exact. It is a simulation, and it gives you an opportunity to practice decision making. So let's go ahead and do this one time, at I Love Mahj. We're going to go to Charleston practice again. Oh, let's see here. What happened? It's already started. It says, let's start over. It must be stuck in my previous one. Okay, let's see. You'll be notified when the game is over. Okay, so let's see here. I guess you can't just go back for random pulls. That's strange. Okay, now it worked. Okay, so it must have finished. All right, so here we go. We have, let's see here. Oh, I had a tab open. Okay, so here we are. We have a new set of tiles, a new random pull. So here we're going to go through the whole Charleston, and I'll show you how to do the Charleston modeling practice with decision making. So with this set of tiles, we have north, south, red, 1 band pair, 3 band pair, 4, 9, 4 crack, 6 crack, 4 dot, pair 5. I would start with the multiples, 1, 3, and I'm just choosing these to speed this up a little bit. So we have 1, 3, 5 pairs. I would probably hold the 4s because this could be a consecutive hand, 3, 4, 5. And that leaves us with north, south, red, 9, 6 for passing. And I would stop there because we need to have tiles to pass. So they can't all be keepers. The first round of the Charleston is obligatory. You have to pass. It's mandatory, in other words. So we have to pass right across left. So there's our first pass. We have another multiple of 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5. We have tiles we can pass. So we still don't have to pick a hand. We can just continue to gather. We have a 1 bam. And now we have a new multiple with the red dragon. But with the current card, there's no way for us to use that red dragon unless we have a 3 dot. And that would be for the 5th hand down under odds. And that's a gap, by the way. If you have a gap, you want to look for other options that may be stronger. At the moment, it's really the best we could do with what we have. I would break it up because we have just as good a chance of getting a 3 dot for the 2nd hand down. And we need tiles to pass. So we have 3, 4, 4, 5. What we really need in here would be, let's say, a 6 dot. That would be ideal, or maybe a 6 crack. So for these tiles, let's go ahead and let the 4 dot go. So we picked up a 6 bam, 8 bam. Sometimes it's good just to reassess and put them all in order by suit. We have 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 4 crack, 5 dot pair, and a couple of dragons. I would definitely keep going. I would not stop the Charleston here. If you're in between, pick a hand and let options go. It's better to keep going and not straddle 2 categories or 2 hands. So what I would probably do here is let these bigger numbers go. Focus on 3, 4 of some kind. So I would continue and probably pass the red dragon, the 8 with a 6. We probably could even make that a little better by passing a 4 crack. Let's see what happens. We have a 5. So now we have 3, 4, 5, 6. We even have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you look at the card, though, there's only one hand that uses, or I'm sorry, 2. There are 2 hands that use 5 numbers in a range. The first one in one suit, and then the the fourth hand down in mixed suits. We have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it really doesn't work well with either of those hands. So I would probably continue by letting the bigger numbers go and focus on the little numbers. So I would pass the 8, and I probably would let the dragon go here. Because if we get a 3 dot, we could play 1, 3, 3, 5 and use the 5 dot. Another thing we could do if we get a 6 dot is we could play the second hand down on the right. So once you start getting all keepers where they're all potentially useful, that's when you want to look at the card and try to figure out what hand is best so that you can whittle out some discards to help you keep going with the Charleston. We picked up a 3, bam. So we have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have 3 tiles we can pass. I would let the 6 bam go. We have 1, 3, 4, 5, and then a 5 dot pair. We didn't get any keepers in here. We have a 4 crack there, but it's really not very helpful. What would be helpful in here is a 2 bam or a 3 dot, maybe a 6 dot. So let's pass 3 and see what we get. No keepers. So we have 3 clear discards and some options, but we do have 2 categories, either little odds, 1, 3, 5, or 1 through 5 of some kind. And you really don't have to pick a hand until you run out of your discards. That is called playing with an adaptive style of play, and it is the best way to play American Mah Jongg. Don't pick a hand till you run out of discards. Sometimes, as in the example of this exercise, you might need to look at the card to help free up discards to help you continue in the Charleston. So in that sense, you need to look at the hands, but you really don't have to pick a hand until you run out of those discards. I hope you found that helpful. We're going to go back to the presentation so I can share another skill builder with you. But before that, I want to share an idea with you on how you can measure results. Measuring results is important for a couple of reasons. The first reason is you want to see your progress. You want to see that your decision making is improving. And this is one way to do it. Another reason why you want to measure your results is so that you can figure out where you might be in relation to your opponents. So, for example, envision a racetrack and there are runners behind the gate. And the gate opens and their runners are off and running. The players in the very front, they know what hand they're playing. They have no gaps, no weaknesses. So they're running hard and fast to get to the finish line. Then there are going to be players who are kind of trailing behind a little bit. Those are the players who maybe they know what hand they're playing, but they have some weakness or maybe even a gap. And then you have the players who are stuck behind the gate or stuck at the front line because they don't know what hand they're playing yet. So they're kind of way behind. This is the idea that I want you to think about as you measure your results. If you have more than 4 discards, you would be an underdog for that game. So you would still be at the starting line because you've got so many discards. Maybe you don't even know what hand you're playing. If you are an underdog, you want to take a low risk approach until you know what hand you're playing and you have no gaps and few weaknesses. So a gap would be, let's say you're playing a 3-6-9 hand and you have no 3s. Or let's say that you're playing a hand where you need 4 pair and you have singles for those 4 pair. Those would be 4 weaknesses. Those variables would make you a likely underdog in the race of building a hand, completing a hand. So more than 4 discards, you're an underdog for that hand. If you have 4 discards you're likely going to be a contender for that hand. That means that you can take a moderate risk approach. You can expedite hand development because typically you're going to know what hand you're playing as a contender, and maybe you have no gaps and few weaknesses. You can run a little faster because you know your direction. If you have less than 4 discards, you would be one of the front runners. And that's where you can expedite hand development regardless of risk. Run hard and fast because you're out there in the front. You're blazing a new trail. So it's okay to take risks when you get to the pick and discard phase of the game. This is why you want to measure results and figure out what position you might be in so you know what kind of risks you can take as you develop your hand. We're going to now look at 3 other exercises that you can do to build your skills when playing a game of Mahjong, whether online or with people that you know. And some of these are going to be helpful if you play with people who are more experienced than you are. So they're going to be challenging. They're not going to be comfortable. They're going to be uncomfortable, but fun just the same. The first exercise I call Charleston chain reaction. The purpose of the exercise is to practice intentional decision-making by focusing on, this is Charleston force. I'm sorry, I need to change that title. This is Charleston force. This is where you pre-select strips of paper for each category on the card. So you would pick, let's say 3, and then they would be in front of you and you would create a hand on one of those strips. And then when you complete the hand, you're going to remove it and repeat it for the other 2 strips. So you're forcing yourself to, let's see here. I have this, I'm sorry, I have the entry sentence is incorrect. So I apologize. Because keep that in your mind, Charleston force. What we're going to do is circle back to this because this is the next exercise. We're going to go back to the I Love Mahj program and we're going to force a hand. Let's see here. Looks like I closed my windows. So let me open a new one. All right, so here we go. We're back at I Love Mahj, and we're going to go down to Charleston practice, and we're going to click Start Exercise. And we're going to just play, just without looking at these tiles, let's play a 3-6-9 hand. Some hand in 3-6-9. And we happen to have 3-6-9 in here. Let's sort by suit, and then we're just going to gather the 3-6-9. So we're going to play some kind of 3-6-9 hand, and we're going to let all the other ones go. Even this Pung of West, we're going to break it up, and we're going to force a hand in the 3-6-9 category. And you can see we're starting with 5 tiles, and I think you'll be amazed how you can make just about anything work if you make the right decision at the right time. In this case, we're starting at the very beginning by focusing on these particular tiles that can be used in 3-6-9. So let's see what happens. And all we're interested in is 3-6-9. So we're going to pass as defensively as we can and gather 3-6-9 and just continue to pass tiles while gathering the category that you've pre-selected. We got 9s. And we still have tiles we can pass. We got a 3 and a 9. Look at that. And we still have tiles we can pass. Now this right here is a little bit risky. I would not pass 2 winds together. I maybe would, I seem to recall that we gave the player across from us a west, so let's not do a west. Let's pass the east. We have 3 9 pungs, and then we have a 6 bam. It's our only 6, so I would keep it. I think I would probably let the 9 bam go. You know what we could do though? We could maybe play that concealed hand and keep that 9, because at least we have the 6 bam, and all we need in here would be this 3 bam and then maybe a 6 crack. So I think I would break up the 9. No, I think I would keep the multiple. Maybe let the 9 bam go, because at least we could use jokers. Can't use a joker with a single tile. So let's let the 9 bam go. This is the kind of thought process that you want to go through when you're looking at your tiles. What would be the best thing to do to get me to that end result that I want, which is less than 4 discards, if possible. We did not get any keepers, so we're going to keep going. We still don't have keepers, so we'll pass 3. Let's go ahead and pass the west this time. We got the 9 bam back. Okay, now we have 3 9 with a 6. We have a couple of options with 9s. We have 4 discards and a category with no gaps. However, we don't know what hand we're playing. Anytime you don't know what hand you're playing yet, consider yourself an underdog for that particular hand. So here we would be an underdog. But if you think about where we started with 5 tiles, we only have 4 discards. Otherwise, we have all tiles that can be used in that category. So we made a lot of progress, and that's why you want to measure your results, or one reason why. Okay, now let's go back to Charleston chain reaction, and I'll show you why this one is interesting too. This is a great skill builder. The idea is the same as Charleston modeling. You're going to lay your tiles out just as you did before, with the incoming column and the outgoing column. And you're going to have your tiles in your rack and the tiles in front of you randomly. And then you're going to go through the Charleston exercise. But this time, when you get that dealt hand, take a photo of it, because you're going to recreate it. And you're going to take a photo of every incoming pass. So once you identify the strength of the hand, pick a plan A and a plan B. Sometimes you can go one of 2 ways. So if you pick, let's say, a consecutive hand for plan A and then an even hand for plan B, so you would go through the modeling exercise with plan A in mind, gathering tiles for consecutive run, and then look at the results and document the results. How many discards do you have? Do you know what hand you're playing? Are there any gaps or weaknesses? Then, because you've taken photos of every incoming pass, you'll be able to recreate the Charleston. So don't mix them up with those random tiles. Push the random tiles in front of you so that you have space to work with the tiles in the Charleston. So once you get through the Charleston, those tiles to the right, you're going to do your optional. And then after you document results, you're going to turn everything upside down. And then you're going to recreate that incoming column so that you can then do Charleston modeling with plan B, which would be evens in the example here. So go through plan A, note the result, what category or hand are you playing, number of discards, gaps and weaknesses are good too. And then you're going to go through plan B and then compare the results and then see which category was better for those tiles. It's a great exercise. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do that at I Love Mahj. This is one reason why I think I Love Mahj is a wonderful place to practice. So good job, Philippe and Julie, on creating this platform where we can practice. We're going to click Start Exercise, and we're going to go into Charleston Practice, and we're going to identify 2 categories to play. We don't have any multiples in here, so this will be a really good example. We have a flower and east, 1 of each dragon. We have 4, 5, 6 in bams, 1, 4, 9 in cracks, 3, 4 in dots. When I first saw these tiles, I immediately thought like numbers with dragons, because that would leverage each dragon. That's 3 tiles. And we have 1 of each of the 4s. The other thing I saw is that we have a nice collection of 3, 4, 5, 6. So I would pick Plan A category that would use most of my tiles. And then Plan B would be the one that has maybe 1 or 2 tiles less. So if we played like numbers with 4s, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles. The flower, the dragons, and the 4s. If we played 3, 4, 5, 6, we would have 4, 5, 6 is 3, 4 crack, 4, and then 3, 4 in dots would be 6. So we have more tiles towards like numbers than we do 3, 4, 5, 6. So Plan A is going to be like numbers. So let's pull the tiles we can use for like numbers, and then the rest will go. We're focused on like numbers, so we're going to do the best we can with these passes. I would break out the 6 from the 5. Here we go. We got a dragon, which is not helpful for like numbers, but I would keep it for a moment. I think I would pass the 9 bam. So we have a 5 bam with a 9 crack. No keepers. So let's pass 9 dot with a 7 crack and a 5 bam. 1 of each suit. We got a 4. And we're going to keep going, definitely. North, let's say 2 with a 9. We're focused on like numbers. No keepers. But we have tiles we can pass. So you don't even have to look at the card. We're just gathering. We got a 4. And we have tiles we can pass. We still don't have to pick a hand. No keepers. We have like numbers. We're going to pass 3, but I would not pass like numbers. In my opinion, passing like numbers is almost as risky as passing a pair. And American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples, so you do not want to pass pairs unless it is a last resort. Like if you're playing a really big hand and you have only 2 discards, that is not the case. So I would not do that. I would pull back the 9 and let the dragon go. We still have 1 of each, so we could play the second like number hand. We have no keepers, but we have a hand with no gaps, and we have, I would say, no weaknesses because we can use the joker for the 4 crack. We have 4 discards. We would be a contender with this particular result. That means that we could take some risks. In this case, it's a concealed hand, so maybe that means that we would maybe take a little more risk with our discarding. If we decide to make exposures and play the first hand, if we get lots of flowers, then maybe we take risks by making an exposure with a joker because we're going to risk that joker being taken. So that would be an example of Plan A. Now, this is when at home, if you do this exercise, you're going to be taking photos so you can recreate the Charleston and then focus on 3, 4, 5, 6 using the same tiles in the same order that you did the first time around. That's why the photos are so important, because you got to recreate those. And I have lots of videos, by the way, that demonstrate how to do this. So I'll make sure that there's a link in the video description below so you can see how to do this in person. So what we're going to do online is we're going to click replay with the same tiles. And they're right here for us, which is fantastic. So we're going to hold 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to compare results. So we were a contender with like numbers. We had 4 discards and a hand with no gaps and no weaknesses. So those would be the variables that you would document on paper or with your smartphone if you like to go paperless, which I do. All right, so now we're going to break out these dragons. Let's do a green dragon with a 1 in the east. That's a fine pass right there. It's fun to look at reveal. That, yes, that's good if you want some validation, but I recommend waiting on that and try to do it independently and then use that as kind of a last resort. It is a wonderful feature though. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let's click pass. We're looking for any 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we could do 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe let's keep the 7. We have a dragon, a 9 bam, and a south. So let's pass these. We've got a 3. So now we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a north, south, 9. That's pretty risky. I would keep the 9 and instead pass the 7. Because you're not going to go all the way from 3 up to 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's too much with these particular tiles. The only way we could do it would be 3, 4, 5. It would be the 4th hand down. Single pair pung 3, 4, 5. And our 3, 4, we have no 5. So if you have a gap, take that as an option off your list of options. If there's a gap, just don't even go there. Choose something that you can do where there's no gap. 3, 4, 5, 6, there are lots of options, and I wouldn't even think about picking a hand. So let's pass. We have a dragon that we might be able to use if it comes back to us. And we do have tiles we can pass here. So let's continue. 2 bam, 7 crack, and a south. Okay, now we have a 3. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it did change a little bit. And the 2, 3, 4, the dragon, those are all going around, and we may see them come back. So we might consider keeping some of these. Let's see, with 3, 4, 5, 6, we do have a hand in here with no gaps. 3, 4, 5, 6 flower and a dragon, the concealed consecutive hand. So maybe what we could do is let one of the 3, 4 go. I don't think I would pass a 2 with a white dragon. Although we do have some potential for the 3, 4 pair hand. Let's risk it. Okay, we've got the dragon now. Here's West 7. Now that we have a pair of dragons, I would let one of the offsuit 3, 4s go. Let's let a 3 crack go. We don't have any keepers here, so let's pass those. All right, now we can look at our result because we're done. We have a hand with no gaps, 3, 4, 5, 6 dragon, and a pair of flowers. We have weaknesses because the 3 bam and the 6 bam, those need to be pungs. We could use the joker to help us there. So let's say the 6 bam and the flower and the 3, 4 and bams, those would all be weaknesses. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 weaknesses. 4 weaknesses. And we have 6 discards. The 3, 4, 5, 6 option, plan B, that's a significant difference in results. We would be an underdog here. So plan A, like numbers, was the way to go. So by doing this exercise, you can test your instincts. If your results for one plan is far better than the other, give yourself a pat on the back and call that an achievement. That first choice that we made was excellent. So try this exercise at home, whether you play online at I Love Mahj or whether you use your tiles at home. It's a wonderful exercise. Okay, so now we're going to go to Charleston chain reaction. Oh, that's what we just did. Sorry. We're going to do Charleston force, which we already demonstrated. And just to reiterate that, it's the same Charleston modeling that you would set up, the same column for incoming, outgoing. You get random tiles. The whole process is the same. You're going to make strips for every category on the card, and you're going to pick 3 at random. And then you're going to create hands in one of those strips, and you're going to do the exercise 3 times. Go through the Charleston and gather tiles for whatever category is best for whatever tiles that you have at the moment. So since we already did that exercise, now we're going to do Charleston sprints. This is the next exercise. This actually is the last one. Charleston sprints is when you force yourself to make quick decisions. And this is a really good exercise if you play with people who are better than you, people who make quicker decisions than you, because there's that anxiety that builds inside you and you think to yourself, I'm holding up the game. If you practice with this exercise at home, you can desensitize yourself from that anxiety and know that even if you make a mistake by making quick decisions, you can recover in the pick and discard phase of the game. And you can also see how forgiving the game is. You can recover from a bad decision or making mistakes. Sorry, my throat. Okay, so what you're going to do is the same thing as before. You're going to create the mock Charleston, the incoming column. You're going to create your dealt hand, pick the strength of the hand, and then you're going to go as fast as you can. So you're going to use your smartphone. If I don't know if everybody has this on their smartphone, but I have a clock. You see that icon in the upper right corner? That is a clock, and it has a timer on it. If you go to the stopwatch, you see that? You can use that stopwatch and track your time. If you click lap, let's see. You can use the lap feature to reset the tiles and then click lap when you're ready to do the next sprint. So have your smartphone there, or maybe use a stopwatch and do laps. Laps 1, 3, and 5 will be the setup where you mix the tiles and recreate the Charleston. Laps, laps 1, 3, 4 will be the sprints. Laps 2 and 5 will be setup. So lap 1, you're going to already have everything set up, and then you're going to hit start and put the tiles in your rack. And then you're going to make super quick decisions going through the Charleston as quickly as you can. And then when you're done with the Charleston, you're going to click lap. And then you're going to reset. And when you have the Charleston modeling all set up, you're going to hit lap again and do another sprint. And in the end, you'll have 6 laps. Laps 1, 3, and 5 are the sprints. Laps 2 or 1, 3, 6 are the sprints. Laps 2 and 5 are the setup. And what you want to look for would be the average. So you're going to take an average of your 3 sprints. For novice players, beginners, people brand new to the game, your average should be under 4 minutes. If you're an intermediate player, your average should be under 3 minutes. If you're an advanced player, your average should be under 2 minutes. If you're an intermediate player and you can get your average under 2 minutes, you probably will be able to play in a tournament comfortably. So remember these thresholds and push yourself to make quicker and quicker decisions. So we're going to go back to I Love Mahj because you can do this at I Love Mahj. We're going to go into Charleston practice and I'm going to click start exercise. And when I click start exercise, we're going to get our dealt hand. And the timer is going to be starting already. It's going to be in the lower right corner. So we're going to get started right away. And I am an advanced player. So I'm going to make super quick decisions. I'm going to try to slow down a little bit. And let's say I'm an intermediate player. My goal is going to be to make decisions in under 3 minutes. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to click start now and I'm going to go a bit fast. So buckle up. Okay, so you can see the timer's going right now. We have joker, flower, 4, 8, 9 bam pair, 1 crack pair with a 5, 7, 1, 2, 5, 7. I would focus on the 9 because it uses most tiles. I would play some kind of a big odd hand, or maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'd probably keep that 8. And then I would break up the 1 and pass a 4 with a 2. We got a 9 and a 5. So I would keep going. I would not pass like numbers, so I would let the 8 go because we've got a lot of 5, 7, 9 in here. There's a 7, another 7, another multiple. We do have a green dragon and we have a hand with no gaps that would leverage the pair. We also have 5, 7, 9, 9. Now, when you do sprints, you're going to have riskier passes and you're going to need to know the card pretty well because you got to know what hands you could play quickly. 5, 7, 9 dragon or 5, 7, 9, 9. That's pretty risky, but we have 2 hands with no gaps, so I would risk it. We did not get any keepers. I would not risk passing like numbers here. I would pick a hand. 5, 7, 9, 9 with 4 flowers. I would leverage the 2 multiples. I'd probably pass the dragon. Okay, so we have a 7. Here's the 5 again. I would pass these 3. We have a 7 bam and a 9 crack. Okay, so I would pass the green. We have 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 7, 9 bam. So I would pass the 5 and break up the 9. And then here we have 3 discards, so I would let those go. And we're done. And we got up to 2 minutes. The timer went away. I wish they would leave it up. Oh, here it is. We completed it in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So we met the threshold. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Oh my gosh, doggone it. All right, let's do it again. This darn thing. Okay, so sorry. Thanks for pointing that out, Deborah. Oh my gosh, I don't understand why it does that. Okay, well, you can see we have a hand with no gaps. I'll do it again. Shoot. Okay, so there's 5, 7, 7, 9. A hand with no gaps. We have 5 discards. So we would be an underdog. Okay, now we're going to do a new hand. Okay, you can see my screen. I can see that. So we're going to do it again. We're going to sort by suit. So we want to try to do this in under 3 minutes. We have a joker, east, green, pair white dragon, 7, 8, 9 in, or 2, 7, 8, 9 in bams, 3, 4, 8 in cracks, and 1 dot with a 9 dot. If this were my hand, I would probably play a year hand because of the white dragon. And then we could even maybe even keep the eves. So I think I would keep the 4 for 3, 4 of some kind, maybe. Even the 1, since we have a pair of white dragons. So maybe pass 9, 8, 7. Okay, so here we have another 1 and we have 2 wins. Let's pass 8, 9, 4. That's a little bit risky. We have a new multiple though. I'd reassess. 3, 4. 3, 4. I think I would let this 1 dot go. We have another 4 and a south. Here's a 9 dot that can go. I'm kind of thinking we should try for maybe the year hand. Let's see, east, south. We have a 4 and a 3. Let's let the 1 bam go. Okay, now we have like numbers with 6s. We're going to keep going. Let's pass 6, 7. And then we have potential for a year hand. We have 2 4s in here. I think what I would do is probably, let's see, 2, 3, 4. The white dragon doesn't go with a 4. Let's let the 4 dot go. Here's a 3 bam. I'd pass 1, 3, 8. We have 1s and the green dragon came back. So probably I would let the 4s go here and focus on a year hand. I don't think I would pass like numbers though. I'd let this green dragon go. And we got, okay, 2, oh yeah, courtesy pass. Okay, so we have 3 tiles. All right, so we finished we got another keeper. So we have finished the Charleston in 2 minutes and 31 seconds. For an intermediate player, you want to be under 3 minutes. So we made that goal. If you're an intermediate player, you would want to try to get under 2 minutes. So whatever level you're at, try to make decisions in the next threshold ahead of you so that you can push yourself. So with this particular result, I probably would not pick a hand, but I would focus in the year category. And I would say we're an underdog because I don't know what hand we would play. Maybe the first hand, and we have a gap, but we do have a joker. We could maybe play the concealed hand, use the 3 cracks as joker bait. So we could maybe say that we have 3 clear discards and joker bait. So a couple of good picks in the begin game, and we would be maybe a contender for this one. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and go back to the presentation because I just want to share one more thing about doing skill builders and why it's so important. You're going to optimize retention if you practice at home, whether you do it online or whether you do it with tiles on your own dining room table. You're also going to develop your problem-solving skills. You're going to improve your decision-making, and you're going to gain confidence. These are the benefits to doing skill builders. So I highly recommend that you do these online or at home with your own tiles. Let's play at I Love Mahj, and we'll play with robots and play a couple of games. I hope you found that helpful. So we're going to exit and we're going to play with robots. Let's see what happens if we're going to play with intermediate robots. We're up at the top under Game Launchpad. and it did not share my screen. So let's see. We need to go to window. Let's see if this works. There we go. Thank you, Deborah. And thank you for writing in caps because that did grab my attention. I appreciate you being here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to play 2 games, maybe even 3. All right, so we're going to target the strength of the hand. We have a pair of 2s in here. Flower, East, 1, 4, 8, and bams. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, and cracks. Pair 2, and a 6 dot. You might think to yourself, why not play 6, 7, 8, 9? You have more tiles. You could do that, and you wouldn't be wrong, but I think it's better to target the multiple. That's where I would start. 1, 2, 3, and I would keep the 1 and the 4. We might be able to do that. And we might even be able to play a year hand with the wind. So I would keep those tiles, and I'd probably pass 7, 8, 9. I suppose we could do 1 of each suit right there. Let's start there. We have a south. We have a green dragon here. Oh, look. Oops. Let's wait on that. We have a 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a hand with no gaps. 2, 3, 4, 5. Second hand down on the right. We have a 7, 8 with a wind. I would let the winds go here. We picked up a 2 and a 4. I would just hold all consecutive tiles. At this point, since we have no other dragons, I would let the green dragon go. And then I would pick a hand or 2 to release another tile. Really, this 1 bam, though, is isolated. So that would be a clear discard in my mind. I would not pass 2 wins. Okay, we have another 5. And we have 3 tiles to pass. So we don't have to pick a hand. We can just keep going. Now we have a 2 and a pair of 5s and even a 6. Technically, we have no discards at this moment. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4 in cracks, 4, 5 in bams, 2, 5, 6 in dots. We have 1 through 6. That's too long of a range. The ideal range when you're in mixed suits is 4 numbers. So probably the 6 can go. We do have a hand in here with no gaps. 2, 3 crack, 4, 5 in bams. So I think what I would do here is break up the 2 dot and let that be a discard later. Same with the 5 dot. And then I would let something else go. We have 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. I would, let's see, no, 2, 4. If we pass that 4, we would be passing all evens. I would let the 1 go instead. Okay, we picked up a 3 and a dragon. This dragon corresponds. And we have tiles we can pass. And I would pass that. All right, we have 3 discards. This looks really risky, but it's not. It's not bad. The 1, 9 is a bit risky and the 1, 4 is a bit risky, but it's not too bad. And we're setting ourselves up for success here, especially if we get maybe that 1 crack back. We can maybe do the concealed hand, or we could do 2, 3 in cracks, 4, 5 in bams. And we got keepers. I would play the concealed hand and let the 5 bam be potential joker bait, which is a way to get a joker in our hand, hopefully. So I think we should play the concealed hand. That would leverage each of our pair here. 2, 3, 4. We have our pairs in hand. All we need is a flower and a red dragon. So we have really 2 weaknesses at the moment, but we know what hand we're playing and we have no gaps. We do have 2 weaknesses. So I would say with 2 discards plus joker bait, we are a contender for this hand. So that was a really good result. Let's see what happens. We're playing concealed. Oops. We're playing a concealed hand. So we're going to ignore that. We're going to keep an eye on it because we need a pair. We don't need 5. Somebody kept that 5. Okay, now there's a joker up for grabs. Always keep an eye on the joker opportunities. Because if we get a 7 dam, we can do an exchange. Oh, wrong suit. Oh, there's another joker. That's kind of a red flag there. 2 exposures in the begin game with jokers. We got another joker. Okay, so I'd still say we're a contender because we're playing concealed. We're going to need a flower and a red dragon before we can promote our position. That would be a pair for us. Of course, we're going to just stay concealed. We have 82 tiles remaining. The best time to discard one of the pair tiles that you don't need is 60 tiles remaining. So let's see if we can get to 60, and then we'll let one go and see if one of these robots exposes with a joker. We need a flower. That's our tile, but we're concealed. That's our tile too. So they're probably doing 7-8-7-8. That's what they have to be doing over there. 6 hand down under consecutive run. 69 tiles. So in 2 more picks, we'll let the 5 BM go. Okay, so Pung of West over there. That means they need the East. We don't need the 3. That's our tile. There's only 1 more red dragon. We have a 5 crack. That's an option for us. We could switch to the first consecutive hand. And because our red dragons are out, that is going to be likely. We got to 60 tiles. We let the 5 BAM go and nobody wanted it. So that was a miss. So we're in between the first hand and the concealed hand. I'd say we're still a contender. Now, look, there's an exposure with a Kong. Jokers. I would take it on our next turn if we can and switch to the first hand so that we can call and expedite. We're still in the middle game, so we can catch up and maybe even become a front runner. So let's get a joker and we'll let the red dragon go. So now we can place the joker where we want it. We do have some weakness with the 1 and the 5. So you know what I would do? I would probably play the second hand down in 1 suit. Either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now, there's a 1 crack out and a 2 crack out. So I'd probably play 2, 3, 4, 5. We could do Pung Kong, and we have everything we need to make that happen. We can Pung the 2, Kong the 3, Pung the 4, Kong the 5, because we have the jokers. So let's see how this goes. We're going to call and Kong. This is expediting. Okay, we're going to call and Pung. So we have a tile that is a good discard here. I'd say we're a front runner. We're in the end game though, so there may be other front runners. That tile is already out in a Pung. Flower. Someone just discarded that. Maybe we'll draw our 3. That 3 crack is up for grabs. 8 crack. This is a needed tile by the player across from us. We have to decide, do we want to let it go? It's going to be risky. This I think is a sure hand. They have 2 exposures. So this would be what I would qualify as a intolerable risk. We have a hand with no gaps and no 5 cracks are out. I'd say we have a pretty good chance of winning. So if we discard this, we could be discarding a winning tile. I don't see any 8 bams out and I don't see any 8 cracks. I say we go for it. They're ready to win. So table humbly and move on. Let's play again. All right. Now, if I were playing in a tournament, I would not have done that. But we're playing with robots, so I would do it, playing with robots. All right. Now, let's see. We have a pair of 6s in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 in bams, 2, 6 in cracks, 7, 9 in dots. So we have no 4 regardless of suit. So I would not play evens. I wouldn't even think about it. I would play consecutive run because of that gap. So I would play some kind of 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's pass 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit risky. We could do 6, 9. Really, we could probably make this better. Let's say we do 3 with a 9. Let's try that. Here's a 5, 6 now. Here's a 9 bam pair. We have 2 tiles to pass, and now we have to let something go. We can play 5, 6, 7, 8, or 7, 8, 9. The 7 dot we didn't use, so let's let that go. Okay, we don't need any of these. Let's pass 2 with a 5. We have an 8, 9. We have 2 clear discards. So we're at a place where we have 2 discards and then the rest are keepers. We need to pick a hand so we can whittle out discards. I would say we only need one discard to find. I would probably let's see here, 8, so we could do 7, 8, 9 with the flower. We could do 5, 6, 7, 8, pung kong, pung kong. We could do 8, 9, 8, 9. I would not pass a flower. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8, 9, 8, 9. I think what I would do is probably break up the 8, 9 right here. Because we could do 7, 8, 9 flower. Let's see here. 8, 9, 8, 9. Maybe what we could do is 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 8. No, I think we should do the 8, 9. Let the 8, 9 go. It's kind of a 6, 1 half dozen the other, really. Let's let the 9 dot go with a 2. All right, we have a dragon and tiles we can pass. No keepers. We can just let those go. No keepers. We have 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not a hand at all. So we can let the 4 crack go. It looks good, but it's not helpful. Okay, so now we have ended up with 8 crack, 7 dot, really the 4 dot. I'd say that those are all discards. So I would say we have 3 clear discards and options. I would say we're going to be an underdog because we don't know what hand we're playing yet. We have a couple hands we could play, but we don't know which one yet. We could do 5, 6, 7, 8, pung kong, second hand down on the right under consecutive run. Or we could do the third hand down, 8, 9 dragon with the flower, or we could do the 5th hand down on the left, 7, 8, 9 flower. And that would leave those 3 discards with options. At least we're in one category. So we're not ready to do anything. There's a robot with a Kong of flowers already, which is, I don't understand how that happens. Okay, now we have a Pung with a 3 bam. These robots like to make exposures in the first part of the game, which is a bit unusual. If you're playing with people, it's rare that everyone's going to be making exposures in the beginning game. But apparently they had good hand development. Have smart robots here at I Love Mahj. Okay, so we have, let's see, this is in our range. Let's keep that. This is in our range. Keep tiles in your range. 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 2 clear discards. So let's let the 3 go. That probably will be a good discard too now. We got that 4 crack back. Somebody kept it though. We might let that go because somebody kept the 4 crack from the Charleston. Let's see. Let's let the 4 go. There's a 4 crack. Maybe we'll see who kept it. I think the 8 can go. We have 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, all right, let's just keep going. Okay, so nobody wanted the 4. We'll let that go next. Oh, okay, that's interesting. We have 5, 6 matching dragon. 2 ways. We got a 7 bam. The 8 crack we don't need. We don't need to pick a hand. We're just going to let our discard go. So now, since we have a 7 bam pair, I would let the red dragon go, especially because it was just discarded. I think I would play 5, 6, 7, 8 Pung Kong because we can Kong the 6, Pung the 7 bam. We could even Pung the 5. All we need is help with our 8. We have Joker bait with the 9 bam. The red dragon nobody wants. I would start by discarding the flower next. And I would say we're probably 74 tiles remaining. I would say we could bump ourselves up to contender now. We have 3 discards with Joker bait. So at 60 tiles, we're going to let the 9 bam go. That is our tile we can Pung. Okay, 2 crack with jokers over there. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what they're playing. 1, 2 crack, 3, 4 bam, Pung Kong, second hand down on the right. Okay, so nobody wants the dragons. And incidentally, here's our joker bait. Let's see if someone takes it. No, they don't. So we can let it go. That's another miss. Joker bait is hit or miss, but it really is fun when it works. Nobody wanted the 9. Two bam. We can let that go. Apparently nobody's playing wins. Okay, joker. They took the 2 crack joker. Okay, 6 dot just went down. We're at 55 tiles. We're still in the middle game. Okay, so somebody took our 5 crack. We got a keeper. Seems nobody wants the dragon, so I would keep that for now. And the 5 bam, we probably should let that go next. That's was discarded in the early game, so it might be a bit risky to hold on to. We got a keeper. So now we have only 2 discards and we're still in the middle game. I'd bump us up to front runner here. although we can't call for the 8 bam yet. We need a joker or an 8 bam in here. That we can call. And nobody wants the red dragon, so we have a safe discard. Okay, now there's some jokers up for grabs. Wow, that's risky. They must be playing to win. Another joker up for grabs. It'd be nice if we can get one. Oh, they got it. Look how close we got, though. We got pretty close. Okay, let's see if we can squeeze in another game. All right, we have a widespread east, south, red, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 in bams, 3, 5 in cracks, 8, 9 in dots. This is where you want to pick the predominant pattern with like numbers. So I see 2 3s and 2 9s. I think we should focus on either 6, 7, 8, 9 or 3, 6, 9 because of the like numbers. That would give us our predominant pattern. So if you have no multiples, look for like numbers and then pick a category that uses the like numbers and most of your tiles. In this case, 3, 6, 9 or 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's break up the wins and pass a dragon. We got a 9 and an 8. There's our multiple right there. So because we have a pair of 8s, we don't need the 3s. So I would let the 3s go. And I would keep the dragon, which we're not going to be able to use unless we get flowers. But we have discards, so we don't have to think about that right now. We got a 7. That's in our range. 4 numbers around your multiple, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now here we have like numbers with 3s, and I would not pass that. That would be very, very risky. Instead, I would let the dragon go because we have no flowers. That would be if we maybe played the 3rd hand down under consecutive run, or maybe the concealed hand. And you need pairs. Having a pair gap is very risky. So I would not do that. All right, now we're going to keep going. We've got 4 clear discards. And we probably have more than 4, really. I don't think we should pass 2-year tiles. 2, 3 would be 2-year tiles. That would be very risky. Okay, 4. Okay, now here's an interesting situation that showed up. 2, 4, 6, 8. That would leverage the pair of 8s. So probably what I would do is let the 9 dot go. Whoa, there's the 9 bam. South 1, 8, 9, 8, 9 in bams. So I would let the 2, 4 go here and play 6, 7, 8, 9, probably pung kong. I would let this 4 bam go because we're not going to go from a 4 up to a 9. We want to leverage the multiples, build around your multiples or gather around multiples. In this case, we're building because we actually have a hand with no gaps. Let's see, we have 8, 9, 7, 8. I would probably hold the 8, 9, 8, 9, even though there are 2 suits. And we have 3 tiles we can pass. Okay, we have no keepers. I mean, we have a hand that we can play with no gaps. That's what I meant. 6, 7, 8, 9, pung kong. This would be the 2nd hand down in 1 suit. And then if we happen to get a 9 dot, we can maybe play 8, 9, 8, 9, which is the 6th hand down. Same if we get maybe an 8 crack, but here's a 9 crack already going out. So I would let that go. All in all, I would say we have 5 discards, which means we're probably an underdog. So we need to draw well and take few risks. Low risk approach. Okay, now here's an interesting situation. East and west. We could switch to east, west, 7, 8, 9. We have one weakness, the 7 bam. But we could kong the 9 and even pung an east or a west. second hand down on the right instead of 6, 7, 8, 9. Second hand down under consecutive run to second hand down on the right under wins. All right, so let's let the 9 crack go. Let's see which hand comes in here. Either way, we can call and Kong. Either hand. I'd say we bumped up to front runner. We have only 2 discards and we're in the begin game. So we bumped ourselves up with 2 picks from the wall. That would be a pair if we play east and west. If we call that for a pung, we could play 6, 7, 8, 9, pung, kong, and use any number of jokers. We could even pung the 6 bam. All we need is help with the 7. So I would let it go for now because there's another 8 bam. So maybe we wait, give ourselves time to collect east and west. And if the 8 bam goes down, then we make the decision again. Okay, let's let the 3 dot go. We're going to keep an eye out for the next 8 bam. If it goes down, I think we should take it. Let's swap out these 8s to distance ourselves from detection, from hand reading. We want to try to get tiles that will maybe misdirect our opponents from reading our hand. So let's keep the 3, which has nothing to do with our hand. We got a joker. I think I would probably play 6, 7, 8, 9 here. Somebody I think is playing wins because we would see them by now. I think I would ignore it. We don't need flowers either way. There's a joker opportunity. Oh, somebody got there before us. Okay, now here we have an east. So I would take that. Let's see here. East and west. Maybe because we have 2 weaknesses. No. 7. We have an extra discard. I would play east and west 7, 8, 9. Because now we have a pair of east. We don't need a flower. Okay, so we could maybe call east or west. Let's just see what happens. I wonder if they're playing news with flowers. They didn't take the south. Maybe not. That means that we may not have a contender for wins. Joker exchange. Okay, so we're ready to win on a 7 bam, and we're still in the middle game. That's a good goal. If you can win by the end of the 3rd wall or be ready to win by the end of the 3rd wall, that can confirm whatever position you say you're in. And I'd say we're a front runner at this point. So we're ready to win with a 7 bam. We need it needs to be a pair though. So we won't be able to use a joker. We have all the jokers we need right there. I think we should stay concealed. Not spook our opponents, because we would have to discard a joker. We did have some potential for a pure hand, but by discarding a joker, you're gonna spook your opponents. Let's see here. There's no way for a pure hand because there are 2 wests out. So let's throw the east. We're looking for a 7 bam. Oh, west. All right, let's stick with the plan. We're trying not to spook our opponents. We're looking for a 7 bam. Oh, shoot. Here's our tile way up here. 7 bam. We don't even need it. Shoot. All right, let's try to squeeze in one more game. We got ready to win on that one. All right, we have a pair of 5 cracks. Always zero in on the multiples. So for expedience, let's just gather tiles for the 5. 5, 6, 7, 8 of some kind. 5, 6, 7, 8. We have no 3. So 5, 6, 7, 8 it is. And let's say the 2 with a 9 and a dragon. If we gather wins, maybe we could do north and south with a run. Okay, so we have a red dragon. Without flowers, that's not going to be helpful though. Let's see here. Let's let the 1 go with an 8. We have 5, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6. We actually do have a hand in here with no gaps. Let's see, it would be 4, 5, 6 crack, 7 bam, 8 dot. And we have tiles we can pass. Okay, we have no keepers and winds were going around. So let's pass the white or the red dragon since we have no flowers. Let's let the 2 bam go. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6. Let's let the 6 bam go. We got a wind and we have tiles we can pass. Green 2, 8. Let's see, we would be giving up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have north, east, south. Pair east. 7 crack. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's let the 7 crack go. We got a 7 bam. Let's let the 2 and the 8 go with an east. I'm thinking the winds probably are not going to be helpful here. Let's see, 4, 5. We might be able to, let's see here, northeast, south. We have a 5 crack pair with a 7. I'm thinking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fourth hand down under consecutive run. Single pair pung, kong, kong. No gaps. Let's let the wind go here. Okay, we got the 7 crack back, which is good news. Let's pass 1, 9, 4. That is benign. We got an 8. This turned out really, really nicely for us. We have a hand with no gaps. We do have 3 weaknesses though. We need a pung of 6 cracks and we have only 1. And we need these pairs to be kongs. So I would say that's a hand with no gaps and 3 weaknesses. We have 5 discards, which makes us an underdog. So let's see if we can draw well. I would let the winds go right away. Those are, if you're not playing winds, let them go. Let those be the first to go. It really simplifies decision making with your discards. Next, we're going to let the dragon go. Now, we only have 2 weaknesses now because we have a joker. We can call one of our, we can either pung or kong. And again, we're playing the 4th hand down under consecutive run. Oh, look, we have a joker potential right there. Joker exchange. Hopefully, oh, wait, here. We're going to call and kong. And then we're going to do a joker exchange. Now we have only 1 weakness because we can pung the 6 or kong the 8. We'll let this dragon go. And I would bump us up. I'd bump us up. I'd say we're a contender now because we have 2 weaknesses. Okay, we'll call pung. Now we have one weakness, the 8 dot. We have our single and our pair. So all we need now is one more good pick and we'll be a front runner. Somebody took our joker. It seems nobody wants to win. We want we want the 7. No jokers there. Oh, that's our tile. We have to have a joker now. That's okay though. There are 8 and there's only one visible. We don't need that. We need a joker to get ready. We don't need that. It looks pretty, but we don't need it. We have 6, 7. Let's see. Pung Kong, Pung Kong. We're locked in. So we're not going to take that joker. That would kill our hand. We don't want the 2. We're looking for a joker exchange right here. 7 bam. We're still in the middle game. 56 tiles left. They're playing 4. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7. They needed that 5 dot. So they're going to need jokers. Oh, we got that already. How about a 7 bam? There's a joker for grabs. Let's see. 2 bam I thought went out. Nope. Okay, so that 2 bam is available. Pure Kong of Dragons. We're going to need 2 jokers now. So I'd say we're a contender. We're bumping back. So always adjust your position because that's going to affect the amount of risk that you can take. We're still in the middle game. We're going to need 2 jokers. And we're going into the end game right now. So we have 1 discard, but we need 2 jokers. There are 2 jokers up for grabs. If we get lucky, this is where the luck comes in. If we can pick the tiles from the wall to do the joker exchanges. That's where the luck is. Ah, shucks. We didn't get there. But that's okay. It was fun trying, and we got to practice lots of good decision making, which is one of the great reasons why you can practice online, leverage that technology. Even though it might feel a little bit intimidating if you haven't done it before, you'll get used to it. So if you haven't tried playing at I Love Mahj, give it a try. Use MAHJLIFE, MAHJLIFE when you sign up, and you can get 3 weeks free. And then use the exercise room for all those skill builders. I'll make sure there's a link to the video playlist so that you can see how to set it up. And I actually do these exercises in pre-recorded videos on a weekly basis. Every Monday, I release another video with a skill builder. So I'll make sure that there's a link to that playlist, or actually it's a link to a wiki article with links to the videos. So if you bookmark that particular wiki article, you can go there and always get to the playlists and watch the videos with these skill builders and see the decision making in action and also how to do the exercises. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Remember to look in the video description below to access all the links. Sign up for I Love Mahj so that you can practice making decisions online or use your tiles at home, because that'll be muscle memory. Get your hands dirty with the tiles, or don't, you know what I mean. You don't want to get your tiles dirty. You just want to get hands-on practice, and practice repetition. Let's see. We'll be back again. Not next week, though. I have family coming into town. So there will not be Let's Play live streams next Monday. We'll be back again on Friday for a Simply Social Let's Play live stream. And then we'll be back again in 2 weeks on Monday because I have family coming into town. Thank you so much, moderators, for being here. Deborah, thank you for the heads up on the screen issue. And I apologize for the mistakes on my presentation. I'll make sure that those are corrected by the next time we use it. And I thank you for your patience. Also, thank you for watching my videos. And thank you so much for subscribing if you've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you click subscribe and click that little gray bell. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.